Had I known, I wouldn't have tried to use my mother for ritual. I've spoiled my entire life because of greedy. Chukwuemeka's hands trembled as he held the knife above his mother's sleeping body. The herbalist's words burned in his mind, her blood before sunrise, and money will pour from your mouth. Sweat dripped down his face in the dark Lagos flat. What would you do if your own child betrayed you like this? Hit like if family loyalty matters, and comment below where you're watching from. His mother Adanna stirred, her breathing peaceful and trusting. She'd worked 3 cleaning jobs to feed him, her hands rough and aged beyond her 52 years. But Chukwuemeka only saw his own poverty, his friends' expensive cars, his empty pockets. Greed had killed every good thing she'd planted in him. Emeka, her eyes opened. She saw him standing over her, blade gleaming in moonlight. The scream that left her throat shattered the night. "My son, what are you doing?" She scrambled backward, her wrapper falling away. Neighbors banged on the door outside. Chukwuemeka dropped the knife, panic flooding him. "Mama, I wasn't going to," but his wild eyes told the truth. He'd already crossed the line in his heart. Adanna clutched her chest, tears streaming. The betrayal cut deeper than any blade. The door burst open. Mr. Okonkwo and other neighbors rushed in. They saw the knife, saw his guilty face, saw her terror. "Call police," someone shouted. But Chukwuemeka grabbed his mother by the arm and yanked the knife back up. "Nobody moves or I'll do it." The room froze as he held her against his chest, the blade pressed close to her throat. The standoff lasted minutes that felt like hours. Adanna's mind raced through 28 years of sacrifice. She'd sold her wedding jewelry for his school fees, worked until her feet bled, believed in him when everyone called him worthless. And this was her reward. Her own son holding a knife to her throat. "Emeka, please," she whispered, voice breaking. "Whatever troubles you, we can fix it together." But his eyes were a stranger's eyes, glazed with desperation. He'd been visiting Baba Sangadiya for 3 months, each visit pulling him deeper into darkness. The promise of instant wealth had poisoned everything good in him. Mr. Okonkwo stepped forward slowly, hands raised. "My son, this is your mother, the woman who gave you life." Chukwuemeka laughed bitterly. "Life? She gave me poverty. She gave me shame. Other boys had fathers and money. What did I have? A cleaning woman." The words hit Adanna like physical blows. She'd raised him alone after his father abandoned them, poured everything into him. The pain of his rejection was worse than the knife. Her tears flowed silent and broken. Suddenly Chukwuemeka shoved her forward hard and bolted for the door, pushing through the crowd. Shouts erupted as men chased him, but he disappeared into the Lagos night. Adanna collapsed to the floor, her body shaking with sobs. Mrs. Ngozi wrapped arms around her. "It's over now, Mama." But they both knew it wasn't over. It was only beginning. 3 days passed with no word from Chukwuemeka. Adanna barely ate, barely spoke, her eyes hollow with grief. She'd reported him to police, but in a city of 20 million, one young man could vanish easily. Her church members prayed, neighbors brought food she couldn't swallow. Nothing touched the wound in her heart. On the 4th morning, she returned from a hotel cleaning job to find her door slightly open. Fear gripped her, but she pushed inside anyway. Chukwuemeka sat on her old sofa, his clothes filthy, face gaunt. But his eyes held something new, something terrible. Wild triumph mixed with barely concealed terror. "Mama," he said, voice strange and thick. "I did it. I'm going to be rich." Adanna's hand flew to her mouth as she saw fresh scars on his arms, ritual marks that hadn't been there before. "Emeka, what have you done? What have you done to yourself?" He stood up, swaying, and opened his mouth to speak. A crisp 1,000 naira note fell from his lips onto the floor. Then another, and another. His eyes went wide with horror as more bills poured from his mouth, unstoppable, choking him. He tried to close his mouth but couldn't. Blood mixed with the money now, red staining the currency. Chukwuemeka's face turned purple, his hands clawing at his throat. He'd completed the money ritual without his mother's blood, but he'd lied to the herbalist, said his mother was dead. Now consequences poured from his mouth with the money he'd craved. His eyes met hers, filled with regret too late, as he collapsed. Adanna lunged forward as money and blood poured around her son. "Emeka, stay with me." She tried to clear his mouth, but notes kept coming, an endless flood that defied nature. This was the price of greed, of turning against family for wealth. The herbalist's manipulation had led to this horror. "Hospital," she screamed. Mr. Okonkwo stood frozen in the doorway, unable to process the supernatural scene. Money covered the floor now, thousands upon thousands of naira, but it was cost wealth, death money, payment for a soul so too cheap. By the time they got him to the car, his face was ash gray, breathing shallow and wet. Money still trickled from his mouth, slower but steady, like a tap that couldn't be turned off. Adanna sat in back, her son's head in her lap, praying every prayer she knew. Please God, don't take my child. At Lagos General Hospital, doctors stared in disbelief. One nurse fainted when she saw the money pouring from his mouth. They tried everything, suction, intubation, instruments, but nothing stopped it. Dr. Adeyemi pulled Adanna aside, his face grave. Madam, this is not medical. This is spiritual. You need whoever did this, Adanna's words spun. Her son was dying from his own greed, and only the cursor's source could reverse it. But which herbalist? Where in sprawling Lagos would she begin? As she stood paralyzed, a text lit up Chukwuemeka's phone. The price for lying about your mother's death is your own. Until sunset tomorrow. Boba Ekintala. An address in motion followed. Night fell over Lagos as Adanna sat beside her dying son's hospital bed. Monitors glowed in darkness. Chukwuemeka drifted in and out of consciousness, money still sipping from his mouth in slow, blood-stained notes. Each one represented another second of life draining away. Nurses stayed at the doorway, too afraid to enter. Adanna held the phone with Boba Ekintala's address. Part of her wanted to let her son face consequences. He'd stood over her with a knife, willing to kill her for wealth. Why save him now? The betrayal still burned fresh. But he was her son, her only child, and despite everything, love hadn't died completely. Mama. Chukwuemeka's voice was barely a whisper. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Blood trickled from his mouth with a 50 naira note. I was greedy. I was stupid. I deserved this. His hand reached for hers weakly. Adanna felt her heart break again. This was her baby. She stood abruptly, grabbed her one handbag, and turned to Mr. Okonkwo. I'm going to Mushin. I'm going to find this Boba Ekintala and beg him to reverse this curse. His eyes widened. Mama Emeka, Mushin at night. That's dangerous. These herbalists aren't people to bargain with. He'll want something in return, then I'll give him whatever he wants, Adanna said firmly. Even if it's my own life. She looked back at her son one last time, his body trembling with each breath. I won't let my child die, no matter what he's done. As she walked into the chaotic Lagos night, she didn't see the shadow watching from the corridor, a figure in red cloth who smiled slowly. If you're loving this story, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. What will Adanna find in Mushin? Comment below. The Danfo bus rattled through Lagos streets toward Mushin, packed with tired workers heading home. Adanna squeezed between two women, clutching her handbag tight. Mushin after dark was notorious for armed robbers and area boys. But fear for her son pushed her forward. She checked the address again, number 43 Adeniji Street. The bus conductor shouted stops in rapid Yoruba. When he called Mushin, Adanna descended into chaos. Generator noise filled the air, mixed with loud music from beer parlors. Young men in groups eyed her as she walked past. An old woman selling akara by the roadside called out, Mama, where you dey go this night? No safe. Oh, Adanna ignored her, walking faster. She asked directions 3 times before finding Adeniji Street, a narrow road lined with old buildings. Number 43 was a compound with rusty gates. Red cloth hung from the fence, and chalk drawings covered the walls. Her heart pounded as she pushed the gate open. The compound was dark except for one room glowing with candlelight. Cowrie shells crunched under her feet as she crossed the yard. The smell of incense and something darker hung in the air. Before she could knock, a voice called from inside, Enter, Adanna. I've been waiting for you. She pushed the door open. Boba Ekintala sat on a mat surrounded by calabashes, bones, and strange bottles. He was younger than she expected, maybe 40, with tribal marks on his face and eyes that seemed to see through her. Your son is dying, he said calmly, pouring palm wine into a clay cup. And you want me to save the boy who tried to murder you? Interesting. Adanna fell to her knees before the herbalist. Please, Boba, he's my only son. I'm begging you, reverse the curse. Boba Ekintala sipped his palm wine slowly, studying her with those unsettling eyes. Your son came here with lies. Said his mother was dead, that he was orphan. The spirits don't like liars. I know he's done wrong, Adanna pleaded, tears streaming. He's greedy and foolish, but he's still my child. I'll do anything. Take my life instead if you want. Just save him. The herbalist laughed, a sound like dried leaves rustling. Your life? What makes you think your life is worth the price? He stood up and circled her slowly. The money ritual your son requested is powerful. It requires blood sacrifice, willingly given. He promised his mother's blood but couldn't deliver. So the spirits are taking his life instead, slowly, painfully. Money pouring out until he's empty. Adanna's body shook with sobs. There must be a way, some other sacrifice. I have small savings, my jewelry, anything you want. Baba Ekintala stopped in front of her, tilting her chin up with one finger. I don't want your money or jewelry, but there is one way to save your ungrateful son. His smile made her blood run cold. You must take his place. Come here every day for 7 days. Let me perform rituals on you. Your suffering will transfer the curse from him to you. The money will stop pouring from his mouth, but the spiritual debt must still be paid. Your body will carry it. He paused, watching her face. And after 7 days, you might not survive. Still want to save him? Adanna's mind reeled. Take her son's curse onto herself. Suffer in his place, possibly die for him. The same son who'd held a knife to her throat, who'd called her poverty and shame. Every rational thought screamed at her to refuse, to let him face what he'd brought on himself. This was the ultimate domestic betrayal, and she owed him nothing, but her heart, that stubborn mother's heart, wouldn't let go. She thought of baby Emeka's first steps, his laughter when she tickled him, the way he'd clung to her on his first day of school. Somewhere inside that greedy, foolish young man was still her son, the boy she'd promised to protect no matter what. I'll do it, she whispered. I'll take his place. Baba Ekintala's eyebrows rose slightly, as if surprised she'd agreed. You understand what you're accepting. 7 days of rituals, pain, possible death. And your son might not even be grateful. He might waste his second chance at life. I understand, Adanna said, her voice stronger now. He's my son. I carried him for 9 months. I can carry this too. The herbalist nodded slowly, then began gathering items from around the room. Chalk, cowrie shells, a live chicken, strange herbs that smelled bitter and sharp. We start tonight, he said. Lie down on that mat. Adanna's hands trembled as she lowered herself onto the mat. Baba Ekintala began drawing symbols around her body with the chalk, chanting in a language she didn't recognize. The candles flickered wildly though there was no wind. She closed her eyes and prayed, not knowing if she'd see morning, as the herbalist raised his knife over the struggling chicken. The ritual lasted 3 hours. Adanna lay rigid as Baba Ekintala chanted, poured liquids over her, pressed hot stones to her skin. The chicken's blood splashed onto the symbols around her body. Pain shot through her limbs like electricity. She bit her lip until it bled, refusing to scream, thinking only of Chukwuemeka dying in that hospital bed. When it finally ended, she could barely stand. Her body felt heavy, wrong, as if something foreign had crawled inside her. Baba Ekintala helped her to her feet, surprisingly gentle. Go home now. Come back tomorrow at midnight. 6 more days. And tell no one what we're doing, or the curse will spread to whoever you tell. Adanna stumbled out of the compound into the early morning darkness. Mushin was quieter now, most people asleep. She found a taxi and gave the hospital address, needing to see if it had worked. The driver kept glancing at her in the mirror, probably wondering why this old woman looked so shaken and haunted. At Lagos General, she rushed to Chukwuemeka's room. Dr. Adeyemi stood outside, his face stunned. Madam, it's a miracle. Around midnight, the money stopped pouring from his mouth. Just stopped completely. His vitals are stabilizing. We don't understand it, but your son is going to live. Relief and dread flooded Adanna simultaneously. It had worked. The curse was transferring to her. She pushed into the room and saw Chukwuemeka sleeping peacefully, his face no longer gray. Money still covered the floor around his bed, but his mouth was closed. No more blood or currency flowing out. She touched his forehead gently, and his eyes fluttered open. Mama, you came back. His voice was weak but clear. After what I did, you still came back for me. Adanna smiled through her tears, even as pain pulsed through her body. I'm your mother. I'll always come back. But as she turned to leave, she felt something strange in her throat, and when she coughed into her hand, a single blood-stained coin fell into her palm. Adanna hid the coin quickly before anyone saw. Her heart raced with panic. It was happening already, the curse transferring. She rushed out of the hospital, ignoring the nurses who called after her. Outside, she leaned against the wall, coughing again. Another coin, then another, small denominations, but unmistakably the same cursed money. She wrapped them in her handkerchief and threw them in a nearby gutter, fear clawing at her chest. 6 more days of rituals. Could she survive this? Would her body hold out? The coins had heart coming up, scraping her throat raw. If this was just the beginning, what would day 7 bring? Mr. Okonkwo found her there, breathing hard against the wall. Mama Emeka, we've been looking for you. The boy is awake and asking for you. It's a miracle. He studied her face more closely. But you don't look well. Are you sick? I'm fine, Adanna lied, forcing a smile. Just tired. 3 days of worry, you know. She couldn't tell him the truth. Baba Ekintala's warning echoed, tell no one or the cause spreads. She wouldn't risk Mr. Okonkwo and his family suffering because of her son's greed and her own sacrifice. Back in Chukwuemeka's room, her son sat up in bed, looking stronger already. The doctors had cleaned up the money, bagged it as evidence of the supernatural event that had nearly killed him. He reached for her hand. Mama, I know sorry isn't enough. I know what I did was unforgivable. But I want to change. I want to be better. Adanna squeezed his hand, even as another coin worked its way up her throat. She swallowed it back down painfully. Then be better, Emeka. Don't waste this second chance. She kissed his forehead and turned to leave, needing to get away before the coins came again. But at the door, she heard him whisper to the nurse, where's all that money? The money that came out. We should keep it. And her heart sank with the realization that her greedy son hadn't changed at all. Adanna's blood ran cold at her son's whispered words. After everything, after nearly dying from cursed money, he still wanted it. She spun around, fury rising above her pain. Emeka, that money is cursed. It almost killed you. You want to keep it? Chukwuemeka's face flushed with shame as other visitors stared. Mama, I was just joking. I didn't mean it. But his eyes darted to where the bags of money had been, hungry, still greedy. The nurse shook her head in disgust and left the room. You haven't learned anything, Adanna said, voice breaking. I'm suffering for you, and you still only think about money. She didn't mean to say it, the words just came. Chukwuemeka sat up straighter. Suffering? What do you mean suffering for me? Adanna caught herself, remembering Baba Ekintala's warning. Nothing. Forget it. Just rest. She hurried out before he could question further. In the corridor, pain seized her stomach and she doubled over. 3 coins this time, burning their way up. She made it to the bathroom just in time, spitting them into the toilet. Her reflection in the mirror shocked her. In just hours, she'd aged. Gray streaks appeared in her hair that hadn't been there yesterday. Dark circles ringed her eyes. The curse was eating her alive from inside. 6 more days. Could she really survive 6 more days? As she splashed water on her face, she heard footsteps behind her. A woman in red cloth stood there, the same figure from the hospital corridor. Foolish woman, she hissed. Saving a son who doesn't deserve saving. Adanna stumbled backward, water dripping from her face. Who are you? The woman in red smiled, revealing teeth filed to points. I am Ayalod, servant of Baba Ekintala. I watch his patients to make sure they follow the rules. And you almost broke them just now, telling your son about your suffering. I didn't tell him anything specific, Adanna protested, fear making her voice shake. I stopped myself. Ayalod circled her slowly, like a predator studying prey. Barely, but the spirits heard your intention. They are angry. Tonight's ritual will be twice as painful as punishment. Adanna's legs nearly gave out. If last night had been agony, what would twice as bad feel like? Please, I'll be more careful. I swear I won't say anything. The woman laughed, a sound like breaking glass. Too late for begging. You made your choice. Now suffer the consequences. She moved closer, her breath cold against Adanna's face. And know this, your son will never appreciate what you're doing. I've seen 100 cases like his. Greedy children who use their mothers, betray them, let them die. He'll take your sacrifice and learn nothing. Her words were poison, but Adanna feared they were true. Why are you telling me this? Adanna whispered. Ayalod shrugged. Because watching good people destroy themselves for bad people entertains me. Because in 3 more days, you'll be too weak to stand. But you'll still crawl to Baba Ekintala's compound. Because your son is already planning how to get that cursed money back. She vanished then, simply disappeared, leaving only the smell of sulfur. Adanna gripped the sink, her whole body shaking. Was it true? Was Chukwuemeka already scheming? She thought of his eyes on those money bags. The woman was right. Her son hadn't changed, and she was dying for nothing. That night, Adanna returned to motion at midnight as instructed. Her body ached with every step, coins occasionally forcing themselves up her throat. She'd counted 15 so far today, hidden in a plastic bag in her room. Blood stained her teeth from where they'd cut her mouth coming up. Boba Ekintala's compound looked more sinister in the deep night. Shadows moved in corners where nothing stood. The candles in his room burned with green flames instead of orange. He sat waiting, his expression grave. "You nearly broke the rules today. The spirits demand extra payment." "I know," Adanna said, lowering herself onto the mat. "Your servant Ayalod told me." The herbalist's eyebrows rose. "Ayalod spoke to you. Interesting. She rarely shows herself unless death is very close." He began arranging his tools, including new items, thorns, a scorpion in a bottle, something that looked like dried snakeskin. "Am I going to die, Boba?" Adanna asked directly. He paused, considering. "Honestly, maybe. The curse is strong, and you're older, weaker than your son. Most mothers don't survive past day 5, but some do, strengthened by love or stubbornness." He started the ritual and the pain was immediate and excruciating. Adanna screamed this time, couldn't hold it back. The thorns pierced her skin in patterns, the scorpion's venom burned in her veins, and coins poured from her mouth in a flood. 20, 30, 40 coins, until she choked and gagged. When it ended 2 hours later, she lay trembling and broken on the mat. Boba Ekintala handed her water mixed with herbs. "Drink. It will help you survive until tomorrow. And think carefully, Mama. Your son isn't worth this. I can stop the transfer right now. Let him die as he deserves." The cup shook in Adanna's bloody hands as she considered his words. What do you think she should do? Comment your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe for the next chapter. Adanna stared at the herbalist, the cup trembling in her hands. Let Emeka die. After coming this far, suffering this much. But Ayalod's words haunted her. Greedy children who learn nothing, who let their mothers die. She thought of him asking about the cost money, the hunger in his eyes. "No," she finally said, drinking the bitter herbs. "I finished what I started. 4 more days." Boba Ekintala shook his head slowly. "Your loyalty will kill you, but I've said my piece. Come tomorrow night. And Mama, prepare yourself." Day 4 is when the hallucinations begin. Adanna dragged herself home as dawn broke over Lagos. Her small flat felt foreign now, contaminated by the curse living inside her. She collapsed on her bed still wearing her blood-stained clothes. Sleep came fast and dark, filled with nightmares of coins and knives and her son's laughing face. She woke at noon to pounding on her door. Mr. Okonkwo's voice called urgently, "Mama Emeka, your son is being discharged. The hospital says he's completely recovered." "It's a miracle." Adanna forced herself up, her body screaming in protest. Every movement hurt. More gray streaked her hair. At the hospital, Chukwuemeka looked healthy, vibrant even, all signs of the curse gone from him. It had transferred completely to her now. Dr. Adeyemi signed discharge papers, shaking his head in amazement. "In 20 years of practice, I've never seen anything like this. Medical science can't explain it." Chukwuemeka hugged his mother, and she beat back a cry as his embrace pressed against her torn wounds. "Thank you, Mama, for not abandoning me. I promise I'll make you proud." His words sounded sincere, but Adanna saw his eyes drift again to the hospital storage room where they'd locked the cursed money as evidence. Her heart broke a little more. They took a taxi home, Chukwuemeka chattering about getting a job, going back to school, being better. Adanna listened in silence, fighting waves of nausea. Coins pressed against the back of her throat constantly now, waiting to pour out. She kept swallowing them back down, tasting blood and metal. At their flat, neighbors gathered to celebrate Emeka's recovery. Mrs. Ngozi had cooked jollof rice. Mr. Okonkwo brought soft drinks. Everyone praised God for the miracle. Adanna sat in the corner, forcing smiles, her body deteriorating by the minute. No one seemed to notice how sick she looked. "Mama, you should eat," Chukwuemeka said, bringing her a plate. She shook her head. Food was impossible now. Anything she swallowed came back up as coins. She'd lost 8 pounds in 3 days. Her clothes hung loose, her cheeks hollow. How had no one noticed? The celebration continued for hours. Adanna excused herself and locked herself in the bathroom. Coins poured from her mouth into the toilet, dozens of them, blood mixing with water. She flushed quickly, washed her face, and stared at her reflection. She looked like a corpse already. 4 more days seemed impossible. That night, after everyone left, Chukwuemeka sat beside her. "Mama, I need to tell you something." Her heart jumped. Finally, Was he going to confess his continued greed, apologize properly? I've been thinking about that money in the hospital. I know a herbalist who might be able to cleanse it, make it usable. We could be rich, Mama. Really rich. Adanna felt something break inside her chest, not physical but spiritual. Her son hadn't learned, hadn't changed, was still the same greedy boy who'd held a knife over her. She'd suffered 3 days of hell, with 4 more to go, and for what? For this. No, Emeka, Adanna said, her voice dead and flat. That money is cursed. It will kill whoever uses it. Chukwuemeka's face hardened, the mask of gratitude slipping. You don't understand business, Mama. This is opportunity. That money is just sitting there. If we don't take it, someone else will. Then let them die instead of us, Adanna said. She stood up, swaying with weakness, and walked to her room. Chukwuemeka followed, his voice rising. Why are you always so negative, always so afraid? This is why we're poor. You never take chances. Adanna spun around, fury giving her strength. I took a chance on you. I sacrificed everything for you. And you learned nothing. She caught herself again, biting back the truth about the cost transfer. Chukwuemeka stared at her, confused. What are you talking about? What sacrifice? Forget it, Adanna whispered, exhaustion crashing over her. Just promise me you'll stay away from that money. Please, Emeka. If you love me at all, promise me. He hesitated, then nodded slowly. Okay, Mama, I promise. But his eyes held the same lie they'd held since childhood when he stole from her purse. That midnight, Adanna returned to Baba Ekintala's compound for the 4th ritual. She could barely walk now, leaning on walls and fences for support. The herbalist took one look at her and whistled low. You're fading fast. Most don't look this bad until day 6. Your son must be particularly ungrateful. The ritual was worse than before, hallucinations beginning as promised. Adanna saw her dead mother standing in the corner, shaking her head in disappointment. Saw Chukwuemeka as a baby, then as the knife-wielding monster from that first night, both images overlapping. Coins poured from her mouth like a waterfall now, hundreds of them, 3 more days, Baba Ekintala said when it ended. If you survive. Adanna crawled out of his compound, literally crawled on hands and knees down Adeniji Street until a concerned Okada driver stopped and helped her onto his motorcycle. He drove her home, asking no questions, and she wondered if he could see death hovering around her. The next morning, Adanna couldn't get out of bed. Her body had given up, too weak to even lift her head. Coins lay scattered on her pillow where they'd fallen from her mouth during sleep. She heard Chukwuemeka moving around the flat, talking on his phone, laughing. The sound made her want to cry. Around noon, Mrs. Ngozi came to check on her. Her scream brought neighbors running. Oh, Mama Emeka, what happened to you? You look like you're dying. They wanted to take her to hospital, but Adanna refused, knowing doctors couldn't help with spiritual sickness. Just tired, she whispered. Let me rest, but Mrs. Ngozi called Chukwuemeka from wherever he'd gone. He arrived an hour later, reeking of beer and cigarettes. Mama, what's wrong with you? He seemed genuinely concerned, but Adanna noticed him checking his phone repeatedly, distracted. Where were you? She asked weakly. Just out with friends, celebrating my recovery. He sat beside her bed, and she saw something in his pocket, a business card. She reached for it with trembling fingers before he could stop her. Dr. Olufemi, spiritual cleansing and money ritual expert. Her heart sank to her feet. Emeka, what is this? Her voice was barely audible. He snatched the card back, guilty. Nothing, Mama, just someone I met. I wasn't going to use him. But they both knew he was lying. He'd already contacted another herbalist, was already planning to go after that cursed money despite his promise. Adanna felt tears slide down her hollow cheeks. She was dying for nothing, suffering hell for a son who would never change, who would probably end up dead anyway from his own greed. Get out, she whispered. Get out of my room. Chukwuemeka looked hurt, but he left, and she heard him on the phone again within minutes, talking about business opportunities. That night's ritual nearly killed her. Day 5 was the breaking point, Baba Ekintala explained. Either the body adapted and survived, or it gave up and died. Adanna lay on the mat, barely conscious, as he performed his dark work. The hallucinations were vivid now, completely real. She saw Chukwuemeka standing over her with the knife again, but this time he plunged it in, laughing. She saw herself at her own funeral, and Chukwuemeka counting money over her casket. saw the cursed coins forming a river that drowned her. When she finally left the compound at dawn, she knew she wouldn't survive 2 more nights. Her body was shutting down, organs failing under the curse's weight. At home, she found Chukwuemeka gone. A note on the table said, "Gone to handle business. Back soon." Adanna knew exactly what business he meant. He'd gone to the hospital to try to claim that cursed money. After everything, he was still chasing wealth that would kill him. She tried to stand, to go after him, but collapsed immediately. Mrs. Ngozi found her on the floor an hour later and called Mr. Okonkwo. They lifted her back to bed, her body light as a child's now, wasted to almost nothing. "We are calling ambulance," Mr. Okonkwo said firmly. "You're dying, Mama Emeka, no hospital," Adanna gasped out. "Just stay with me, please." They sat beside her bed as she drifted in and out of consciousness. Around noon, Chukwuemeka returned, looking frustrated and angry. The hospital had refused to release the money, citing police investigation and supernatural concerns. He'd been denied. He barely glanced at his dying mother before going to his room, slamming the door. Mr. Okonkwo stared after him in disbelief. That boy just walked past his dying mother like she's nothing. Mrs. Ngozi held Adanna's hand, crying softly, and Adanna finally admitted the truth to herself. Her son was beyond saving. Adanna knew she had to make a choice. 2 more nights of rituals remained, but she wouldn't survive them. She could barely breathe now, coins rattling in her chest with every shallow breath. She'd given everything to save a son who cared more about cursed money than his own mother's life. The ultimate domestic betrayal, and she'd enabled it. With Mrs. Ngozi's help, she wrote a letter with shaking hands. Her will, leaving her small savings and belongings to the church and Mr. Okonkwo's family. To Chukwuemeka, she left nothing but words. "I loved you more than life. You chose money over me. May God forgive you, because I cannot. The curse is yours again. I'm done suffering for you. Take this to Boba Ekintala," she whispered to Mrs. Ngozi. "Tell him I'm stopping the transfer. Let the curse return to Emeka where it belongs." Mrs. Ngozi took the letter and the address, tears streaming. "Are you sure, Mama? This will kill your son." Adanna closed her eyes. He killed himself when he chose greed over everything good. That night, instead of going to Mushin, Adanna lay in her bed and prayed. She prayed for forgiveness for giving up on her son, prayed for peace, prayed that her death would mean something, would teach someone somewhere not to sacrifice themselves for people who didn't deserve it. Around midnight, she felt the curse lift from her body suddenly, violently. The coins stopped rattling in her chest. Her breathing eased. The pain faded like dawn burning away darkness. She'd survived by letting go. But somewhere across Lagos, in whatever bed or bar Chukwuemeka had fallen asleep in, the money ritual was reactivating. The curse was returning to its original host, and this time, there would be no mother to save him. 3 days later, they found Chukwuemeka's body in a hotel room in Ikeja. Money covered the floor, poured from his mouth even in death, his face frozen in agony and terror. The hotel manager said he'd checked in 2 nights before with a bag full of cash he'd somehow stolen from the hospital evidence room. He was screaming about his mother, saying sorry over and over, the manager told police. Then the money started coming out and wouldn't stop. Adanna attended her son's burial with dry eyes. She'd cried all her tears already. The church was half empty, only a few neighbors coming to pay respects. Mr. Okonkwo gave the eulogy, struggling to find good things to say about a young man who died from his own greed and betrayal. They buried him in a cheap casket, the cursed money having been burned by Boba Ekintala's orders. At the graveside, Ayalod appeared one final time, visible only to Adanna. "You were wise to let go. Most mothers don't. They die for sons who never deserved them." Then she vanished like smoke. Adanna placed a single flower on the grave and walked away. Not looking back, she recovered slowly, her body healing now that the curse was gone. The gray left her hair, the weight returned, the strength came back. She kept working her cleaning jobs, kept attending church, kept living. But something fundamental had changed inside her. She'd learned the hardest lesson. Sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes you have to let go. A year later, Mrs. Ngozi asked if she regretted not saving Chukwuemeka at the end. Adanna looked out at the Lagos sunset, thinking carefully. "I regret that I raised a son who valued money over his mother's life. I regret that my love wasn't enough to change him. But do I regret stopping the curse transfer and letting him face consequences? No, some lessons can only be learned through suffering. And some people never learn at all." She lived another 20 years, never remarrying, never having another child. She poured her love into her church's orphans instead, teaching them values Chukwuemeka had rejected. When she died peacefully in her sleep at 72, hundreds attended her funeral. They called her Mama Lagos, the woman who'd survived betrayal and curses and kept her dignity. They buried her with honors, and on her tombstone, they wrote, "She loved much, suffered more, but learned when to let go." Thank you for watching this story. What lessons did you take from Adanna's journey? Comment below and share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. Subscribe for more powerful folk tales that teach real-life lessons. Hit that like button if this story touched your heart. And remember, sometimes the greatest love is knowing when to save yourself.